My name's Jean Louise Finch, but call me Scout. You might have heard of me before. I'm the main character in a pretty famous book, if I do say so myself. To Kill a Mockingbird? Great American classic. Well, recently it's come to my attention that my book is number 4 on the American Library Association's most challenged and banned books. Y'all heard me. Banned. When I heard this, first I got mad. Then I thought, what on earth is so bad about my story that other children can't read it? So I decided to do some research, and here are my findings. First challenge was in 1977, where it was banned in Eden Valley, Minnesota for vulgar language. In 1980, it was said to be trashy in a school district in New York, which I personally object to if I say so myself. In 1985, it was challenged twice. Once in Kansas City, once in Arizona, one for profanity and racial slurs, the other for sexual content and racist slurs. Oh, alright, let's speed up a bit. Blah, blah, blah. Profanity, slurs, sexual content, racist slurs. Aha! In 2016, the Plaquemines Parish School Board in Belchast, LA, lifted a 12-year ban on my book. That's a victory if I do say so myself. So, since so many people have such a problem with me writing about this particular part of my life, I figure I'll give a bit of explanation as to why my book shouldn't be banned. First of all, my book does have a bit of language in it, I admit. There's some rough talking, but I was just trying to be realistic. That's how people in my time talked. It's a historical reference, you see? Nobody talked pretty back in those days. All them other classics who's written pretty might sound nicer, but do they always reflect the time period and talk of the people? No! With my writing, it takes you right back to Macomb, Alabama, and you can hear what my poor little ears heard during those times. And also what my poor little mouth said, I guess. Which brings me to my next point. It seems that one word is the thing that most of these people are so upset about, and that's a word Atticus told me not to use again, and since this is in an academic context, wouldn't be appropriate for me to use either. So I'll refer to it as the N-word. While it is true many characters in my book do use it and use it offensively, y'all have to realize that's how it was back then. It wouldn't make a lick of sense in the story if I were to replace every instance of the word with N-word, now would it? Now, that said, I ain't condoning using it. My book don't condone it neither. If y'all remember correctly, Atticus tells me when I ask if he's an N-lover, he says, let me see. Aha! Page 124. Okay. Ignorant, trashy people use it when they think somebody's favoring Negroes over and above themselves. It slipped into usage with some people like ourselves when they want a common, ugly term to label somebody. And then later, he says, it's never an insult to be called what somebody thinks is a bad name. It just shows how poor that person is. It doesn't hurt you. Just because my book uses the N-word don't mean it's racist, you see? See, my father Atticus is the least racist character in my book. He don't want black people to be cheated, which is why he defends Tom in the rape trial, despite the fact my entire town near turned against him for it. He wants to defend an innocent black man despite everybody being against him because it's the right thing to do. And if that ain't the least racist message I've ever seen in a book, I don't know what is. And finally, my last point. Another thing these academic people complained about was that the crime Tom was accused of was rape. And they say rape ain't appropriate for school-age kids. Which, well, is true. Rape is a terrible, terrible thing. Nobody should ever have to go through that. But unfortunately, it happens, and it's something that kids will be exposed to sooner or later. My book don't go into too much detail, and obviously don't condone it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, my book ain't about rape. Not like that other book on the list, number 9, Lolita. Now that book is messed up. Not saying it should ban, because banning books is infringing on freedom of speech and all, but yikes. So, to sum up my argument, my book should not be banned from schools and libraries. The only reason I used the N-word was to be able to stay true to its time, and I'm sorry if that offends you, but that's the way things were back then. The tone of my book don't condone such language and even discourages it. Also, my book has a message that you should stand up for what's right, even if the whole world's against you, which is a great teachable message, if I do say so myself. Therefore, my book deserves to be taught to kids like me, so that they can learn these valuable lessons. Thank you all very much for your time, and I hope I've helped you reconsider some things. Bye-bye.